1 in every 10 BMWs sold is an X1, and that figure's set to rise as the family crossover segment continues to grow. This Mark II model aims to capitalise on this sector's popularity, providing potential Qashqai class buyers with a premium badged option that's now a far more credible choice. BMW created the original X1 from various bits borrowed from the rest of its product lineup, but this second generation version is freshly designed from the ground up, with much more space, sophisticated underpinnings and a high-tech engine range. It's a strong contender.
On the move, this second generation X1 feels quite different from its predecessor, with a higher set driving position that's less sporty but more commanding than before. All the key elements are in place for a decent driving experience, and there's a drive performance control vehicle dynamic system that, via 3 main modes, Eco Pro, Comfort and Sport, allows you to tweak throttle response, steering feel and stability control thresholds. Gear shift timings too, if you've opted for the 8-speed automatic gearbox that we think many X1 buyers will want. You have to have the auto transmission if you go for the 192 brake horsepower xDrive 20i petrol version or the top 213 brake horsepower xDrive 25D diesel. Otherwise, an auto box is an option across the range. X1 buyers get a front-driven S-Drive setup on lower power models and a 4x4 xDrive layout for the pokier variants that gives you just enough on-demand traction for icy days and muddy tracks. Engine-wise, the lineup starts with the 3-cylinder 1.5-litre petrol and diesel units that BMW has borrowed from the Mini and fits to the base S-Drive 18i and S-Drive 16D derivatives. Otherwise, you'll be looking at the Bavarian brand's 2-litre twin-power diesel unit. This comes with 150 brake horsepower in the S-Drive 18D and xDrive 18D models, or with 190 brake horsepower in the volume xDrive 20D variant that we're trying here. Here's a much bolder and more confident X1, with a street presence vastly different to the rather apologetic look of its first-generation predecessor. Here at the front, the newfound confidence of this design is clear. The X1 no longer the poor relation in BMW's X model lineup. Large air intakes and a strong X accent to the front bumper add to the more purposeful look, as does the contoured aluminium bonnet that flows into these more enlarged and prominent kidney grilles. Time to take a seat up front, which is the area of this car that we think will really sell it to potential buyers. If you come to this car having been familiar with its first generation predecessor, then one of the first things you'll notice is the way that you're seated 30mm higher this time around, creating a much more SUV-like feeling of roadway command. Look around and the high-quality layered fascia is much as it is on the other BMW that shares this one's Mini-derived underpinnings, the 2 Series Active Tourer. It curves around the cabin in a symmetrical wave, garnished with textured aluminium, satin chrome inlays and carefully chosen splashes of brightwork. Time to take a seat in the back, with access into the rear cabin now much easier thanks to these much larger door apertures. And once inside, well, it's back here that you really notice the benefit of this Mark II model's extra 90mm of wheelbase length, and the way that the seats are positioned 64mm higher up to give you a better view forward. The designers claim there's an extra 37mm more knee room this time around, a figure that you can extend to a limousine-like 66mm if you pay extra for the sliding rear bench, which offers 130mm of back and forth adjustment. Let's take a look out back, where first impressions are encouraging. Now, once the powered hatch rises, you're provided with a class-leading 508-litre space, which means there's 85 litres more than the previous model could offer. And in summary, well, it's quite simple. This X1 is now the smart, practical and efficient prestige-badged family crossover it should always have been. It does, at last, have the X factor.